My name is Paul Morgan, and I'm a member of Showing Up for Racial Justice, Queers for Racial Justice. I own my own home and a small business. I've served on the boards of 2 local not-for-profits and participated in dozens of community organizations and block clubs. I have several family members in law enforcement. I respect the rule of law, especially when it comes to members of law enforcement behaving within the guidelines of the law they are sworn to enforce and obey. I come here tonight to assert that the Erie County Legislature has chronically failed to protect our incarcerated citizens from unjustifiable abuse and legal incompetence under Tim Howard of the Erie County Holding Center. For too long, you've shirked your responsibility or passed the buck. At the budget hearing last week, far too much time was devoted to a SWAT team and a helicopter. When asked about the dire need of mental health assessment and treatment in the facility, one sheriff callously shrugged off the question with, "That's the health department's concern." Not according to the police chief of Chicago, who runs one of the largest prisons and admits he's running a mental health institution without the trained mentally health people to treat people there. The Sheriff's Department's chronic mismanagement and abuses have led to the New York State Commission of Corrections 2018 finding that the holding center, quote, managerial shortcomings contributed to numerous incidents including inmate escapes, assaults, and deaths, close quotes. 28 deaths. 28 preventable deaths. In spite of all this evidence of incompetent mismanagement, the county legislature has consistently increased funding for the Sheriff's Department. This year's budget is $11 million over the 2019 budget, leaving unanswered questions about safety, health, and mental health needs of the facility. The medical facility in the jail made the Buffalo News this week, again, after an inmate jailed with 2 healthy feet came out with half his foot amputated. The cause was delayed and inadequate treatment of a spider bite acquired in the jail. That too long ignored bite wound led to necrosis and possible sepsis and ultimately amputation. Our incarcerated citizens are suffering third world hardships born of first world American incarceration practices. You, our legislatures, have the power and the responsibility over the conditions in the county jails, yet you've remained silent while abuse after abuse after abuse is brought to your attention. We're talking about men and women who themselves have tangled roots in this community. They have family who pay taxes and are good citizens. Those incarcerated in cages should not have to suffer being ripped off for phone calls or denied timely access to medical and mental health treatment. We are no longer willing to accept the excuse that your hands are tied when it comes to the holding center. You can and you must hold the Sheriff's Office accountable to how and where its funds are allocated, generated, and utilized. The obscene irony in all this is the budget asked for the SWAT team funding for an emergency response team. One imagines this SWAT team is needed to respond to the alarming frequency of public mass shootings in our country. This request, though, has been made by the very same sheriff who behaves as if he is above the law and brazenly boasts he will refuse to enforce the New York State SAFE Act. The law, again ironically, intended to help keep guns out of the hands of just such violent, homegrown terrorists. This insanity must end, and you are the people who must end it. So I stand before you and I ask, will you, the Erie County legislators speak out to condemnation of the conditions of the holding center and push for greater transparency in the sheriff's budgets? Your hands are not tied. You have the power of the purse, the most powerful weapon against injustice we have in a capitalist culture. You must take steps to address the inadequate conditions in the jail, for now notified, the next preventable death will be on your heads as well.